everybody. Welcome to our second to last student success workshop. This is going to be our second to last one because the semester is almost over. The fall semester is almost over. So you guys are almost there, reaching the end of either your first, your last, or in the middle of your dual enrollment journey. So with that being said, I thought that we should do something that was really, really fun that I think that everyone will definitely enjoy. Um, this is called, this Student Success Workshop is called Finding Your Career and MBTI, matching your personality type to your career choice. So we're going to get into it on what exactly this means and kind of why it's a little important and why, it's something to consider when you're thinking about your career choices, your future majors, what you want to study, whether that's in the trades, if you want to go into the military, it's definitely something that should kind of help out with um, thinking about your future, especially when you guys are, um, if you guys are going to be graduating high school in 2026 this year. So we'll get into it right now. So first and foremost, we're going to go over exactly just what is a career. And so what I have here is a career is more than a job. It's a journey of learning, growth, and achievement. It reflects your passions, skills, and long-term goals. So in general, yes, your career is your job. It is your job. It is something that though you are very passionate about. Um, Careers can range from a lot of things, from, doing a small startup with your friends in your garage, and, it becomes like this amazing brand. Or, it's something that, you've seen your family doing and you want to continue on with doing that. Um, it's even going into the trades or even going into the military. It's something that you feel really passionate about and that you can continually grow in. So, for example, um, I I am a school counselor. So I chose that career based off of um, I chose this career based off of my own interests and along with my own experiences. So that's also another thing that a career can kind of derive um, from your own experiences and everything that you've learned in your life. Um, I really grew up uh, really being a compassionate person. I always wanted to do something that would help people. And there are many jobs and careers that where you can definitely help people in different ways, right? My family really wanted me to go into nursing or at least like somewhere in the medical field. But as I got to high school, I realized that that's not really for me. I don't think I can and I really didn't think I could handle working in a hospital setting or in the medical setting in the medical setting. So, I kind of went through a lot of things and, I ended up with my BA in psychology. Um, just a little quick tidbit about me. I did my first 2 years here at LBCC, and then I transferred over to Cal State Long Beach. And I got my psychology degree over there. And throughout my time there, I basically started realizing that I really liked working with students. I really liked working in a school setting. I felt not only comfortable, but I also felt very passionate about education and making sure that young scholars are, they're achieving and that they are doing the best that they can when they're in school, both social, emotionally, and academically. So when it came to choosing my master's and choosing like a definitive career choice, I decided that I wanted to go with school counseling because I looked back at my life, everything that I've done, everything I've volunteered for, and I realized I think I work really well with kids. I want to work with students, so I chose school counseling. And I've never regretted it ever since then. I absolutely love what I do. I am very passionate about education. If you have met me in person, you guys know I am very, very passionate about education and, making sure that everyone is succeeding. So that's my career. And that's kind of how you should also feel about when you guys are choosing your own careers. So what is if we're going into the importance of career planning, if we're kind of going off of like, especially let's just look back at what I said about how I kind of went through everything. Um, there are a lot of things that are important when you are considering what career to choose. So when you are career planning, if you're when you're deciding your career pathway, if you're a middle schooler going into high school and you're trying to figure out, especially around this time, my eighth graders, you guys are going to be thinking about what exactly is it that um, you want to be doing? Like, what is your career path? What do you want to do? What are you interested in? And then for my high schoolers, my high school seniors, you guys are going to be going to college soon. What exactly is it that you are very passionate about and that you really want to pursue? So having a career plan, it helps provide a direction and focus. You have an idea of what it is that you want to do, and that way you're able to talk to someone like a school counselor, either the ones at your high school or middle school or here at LBCC. Having that idea of like what it is that you want can help, point you in the right direction. So that's why we always really encourage you guys to make a counseling appointment so you guys can talk to the ECI counselors for dual enrollment. So you guys are taking the right classes if you are trying to pursue a specific pathway, if you're trying to pursue specific prereqs or courses that are going to help you with your understanding um, on your major or the trades, whichever it is that you are planning to go through. Um, Career planning also helps you align your passions with opportunities. So while I was at Cal State Long Beach, I was part of this program called Long Beach Blast, and that kind of gave me a little bit of an opportunity. It gave me a bit of it was a volunteering opportunity that kind of helped with me wanting to become a school counselor when I got to my master's degree. And so um realizing that this program was, it was a mentorship, um a one-on-one mentorship where you're kind of working with a student and making sure that they are doing well in school, that they're enjoying school, that they're getting along with other students, and kind of being that person to give them that little bit of a confidence boost, both in school and then outside of school. Um, I found that to be something I really was very passionate about, especially with the student that I was assigned to. And I realized that, since I was very passionate about that, that kind of opened up a lot of doors and other things to kind of think about of what it is that what I kind of wanted to go towards. Um, and I definitely saw that when I started working at the school district, with the Long Beach School District, as a as a childcare worker. So I worked for 3 years as a childcare worker, working with teachers and with preschoolers, and just making like school a fun experience for everyone. And that kind of just led one thing to another, and that led me to my career. So I really realized that like being passionate in this specific sphere. Um, there were a lot of opportunities I found that really aligned with what I was passionate about, and it really helped with, making a definitive choice on what I wanted to do career-wise. And, honestly, doing that as well, because I had those opportunities, it reduced a lot of uncertainty about the future. So I wasn't too worried. I understand that, definitely when you're in college, a good percentage of you um, will definitely um, change majors. And you know what? That's okay. That's definitely okay. That is something that no one should ever feel bad about because guess what? Like in the at the end of the day, you're kind of um you're sticking by with what you are very passionate about. I have a friend who originally went into nursing and she went through all the classes, but then she realized that the classes weren't doing it for her. It wasn't for her. And she, through various opportunities that she got, she ended up becoming a teacher. So she ended up finding her passion, and now she's an ethnic studies teacher in high school. And she absolutely loves her job, and she's a lot more happier. Um, it took a while to get there, but she got it, and now she's thriving and she's doing really well. And when you find that, you find that career where you are like, okay, yeah, like this is exactly what you want to do, it builds confidence in your decision making. So you start thinking a lot better about what it is that you want to pursue. You feel a lot better um about different choices that you can make. I realized that when I was going to do school counseling, I realized that, I kind of had an idea of like, okay, this is my game plan. I am going to do this, this, and this. I'm going to get A, B, C, and D out of the way. I know who to talk to. I know who can help guide me for this. You kind of when you know ex I think in general, when you know what you're doing or you have a good idea of what you're doing, you have a little bit more confidence and you make better decisions and you are able to make definitive decisions. So that is one of the things I really want to highlight about career planning, just something to kind of just think about when you guys are think about what major you want to go into when you guys go to college. So again, just real quick to go over the importance of career planning, it's important because this is going to help provide with a direction and focus for you. It helps align your passions with opportunities. It reduces the uncertainty about the future and it helps you build confidence in decision making. So with that being said, we're gonna go into the personality types. Yay! If you guys haven't heard of MBTI, this is short for the Myers-Briggs personality test. Um, this is just something really fun that I think that a lot of people tend to do. I'm pretty sure that at your workshops for our LBUSD students, you guys have had something similar to this. Um, in general, personality types can honestly tell how people perceive the world and how they make decisions. So it's not exactly definitive on, it's not like, oh, as an introvert, like I prefer to like, even though I really do, I prefer to just let, someone tell me what I need to do instead of me telling someone what to do. Um, I have this opinion about something which is and how I handle this situation is definitely going to be different from how this person handles the situation. I think personality types are, for one thing, it's a really fun conversation starter, and in a way too, it kind of gives you an insight as to what exactly um, it is that can kind of help you work around with everybody, not only with, your friends, but also like, in a workplace. So there are four pairs that make up the MBTI, your MBTI. So every letter is a representation of every letter here that you see. And there are about honestly, I'll get to the picture where we look at all the types and then we'll be able to go on from there from how many different personality types there are. So real quick, the four pairs are extroversion versus introversion, which is extrovert, introvert. Are you more, introversion, do you keep to yourself? Or extroversion, are you more of the outgoing persona? Sensing versus intuition, do you feel when you make your decisions, are you more going off based of your feelings, your emotions, or do you go off of um, Do you go off more of if there's facts, if there is clear-cut evidence, if there's data? There's that kind of thing. Uh, Thinking versus feeling, kind of almost about the same thing. Do you use your head more? Um, do you use your emotions? Um, Judging versus perceiving, um, how exactly do you go about um, discussing um, and going about certain situations? Do you go just by what you see, or do you sit back a little bit and you kind of observe everything first before you proceed with a certain situation? So that is what those four pairs are. Just a quick, brief discussion about it, and then I'll go on and like what my personality type is. So real quick, and we'll go over it real quick right now. So there are about there are three different types of tests that you can take. And we'll definitely start off with this one, which is a really, really good way to kind of find your career based off of everything that you like about yourself and then on the school subjects that you're taking right now. So, I've had a student take this. I know that some students from LBUSD have definitely taken this um, with one of our interns before. So, this is called Find Your Career Pathway. This is something that you can find with the LA Career Finder. And it's a four-step process using a compass. You know, you find your information. So the information is going to be like, what exactly is a career path and what exactly um, do you need to know about it? Exploring is, taking this test right here, which is going to um, you know, see what kind of career that you may be into. And so there are different things that you can definitely explore when you look through this. So there's this worksheet that you guys can definitely go through and see what it is that kind of keep track of what it is that you're interested in. And so these are the different career pathways, right? Agricultural and natural resources, arts and media, entertainment, building and construction trades, business and finance, education, hospitality, information. There are so many career paths that you can choose from. And like what this says, which career path is right for you? So that's where you will kind of find this. And when you do the test, it'll give you different options. You can explore different careers. So for example, if we go into education and childcare and family services, it will go off of like what the test says, and and it'll explain you know why this may interest you. These are the things why education might be interesting to you based off of your tests. And then these are the different careers. And another fun fact thing is that like, you can see the salaries that you can make um if you choose to do any of these careers. And it gives, honestly, it's a really, really good way to kind of just explore and see what you are interested in. For your personality types, um, you can go ahead. It's going to say something different, so I will actually show you what my personality type is later. Um, this is a well-known website called 16 Personalities, and I use this website a lot because I think that they have really in-depth questions. It takes like about maybe like 20 minutes for you to kind of go through. And one of the things that they definitely recommend is um, that you go ahead and you take your time with what you answer, because going through it fast might not give you the best result, and you may not think that you fit that personality type, even though, like, it can definitely change. And I'll go into why that is later. And then I also have this personality test, which is a really quick and fun one just to kind of see what kind of person you are. Um, And this is just going to show you like what just what kind of person you are in general. So it doesn't necessarily, so this one doesn't necessarily give you your personality type, but according to the Myers-Briggs test, but this one will, and it will give you a little, and what's cool about it is that you get all these different things and then you can explore them. So we'll go into that later though. And so again, these are just some tests that you can definitely take. There are some tests that cost money, but these ones I think are fun and that, they're free. So if you are interested and curious about what your personality type might be, consider taking one of these tests. So, why does MBTI work well with careers? Why is it even considered? Well, like I said, it's a personality test. It kind of gives you some insight um, into your own personality and it aligns with your interests. So why would you not want to choose something that aligns with your interests or what you're comfortable with? So so the MBTI works well with careers because it provides insight into your personality preferences that can help guide you towards a suitable career exploration, what kind of job and workplace environment you work well as your working styles. Um, Working styles, are you more of I like to work by myself or I like to work with a team? Job workplace environment. Do you prefer working in something that is very busy and you are always on your feet and you're always on task and you always have a task? Or do you prefer just, sitting in the desk and, working behind the scenes, behind a screen, behind the telephone? Do you prefer doing something like that? And you know, again, like careers are based off of your interests and your passions. So if you have a personality type that makes you lean more towards something where you want to work with students or you want to work with your hands and do some welding or construction, those are definitely things that MBTI can kind of help you perceive. And usually, most of the time, when someone takes the MBTI test, they're like, yeah, that fits really well. So, with that being said, we're going to go into the different personality types. So, there are four different groups that the 16 personalities goes off by. And the four groups starting from the top, we have the analysts, we have the diplomats, the sentinels, and the explorers. I want to go in and say real quick, like, there is no superior personality type. Um, it's just something that's really fun to kind of get to know more about yourself and kind of help guide you towards whatever it is that um, whatever it is that you want to pursue for your future. And also, how you interact with each other. How do you interact with others? How do you handle others? So we're going to go in and we're going to go in with the analysts first. So the analysts, if for, sorry, I'm moving my screen. The analysts, um, for 16 personalities, they describe them as, individuals who have more of an intuitive and thinking personality type, and they are known for their rationality, impartiality, and intellectual excellence. So these are just names that you can look that are kind of associated with them. There is another personality type and career major website that I will be more than happy to link in later in the email where I found these, but we're going to go over them real quick. So, if you have a personality type that is INTJ, that means that you are introverted, intuitive, you use a thinking approach, and you have a judgmental perception. Um, these types are more imaginative and strategic thinkers with a plan for everything. And um, they are described as analytical, tough-minded, and systematic. INTP, these individuals are innovative inventors with an unquenchable thirst for knowledge. So, kind of fitting that they have like the scientists as as kind of like their as a representation for this personality type. They are known to be conceptual, analytical, and critical. ENTJ, which I do know some people that do have this personality type. They are very bold, imaginative, and strong-willed, and they're always finding a way, or they're making a way. They're known as also analytical, blunt, and planned. And ENTP, um, E being extroverted. Um, these are curious and flexible thinkers who cannot resist an intellectual challenge. They are very resourceful, assertive, resourceful, and competitive. So kind of fitting that they are, they're on a little soapbox. Um, if you fit with any, if you have taken the test, or if you haven't taken the test, yes, yet, and you align with any of these personality types, then you are considered the group of analysis. So, what does that mean for careers, right? So, for INTJ, um, um, personality types. These personality types kind of gear more towards engineering, technology, computer science, architecture, mathematics. INCP majors include anthropology, business administration, physics, philosophy, biochemistry. ENTJs are business, law, engineering, and then ENTP, accounting, criminal justice, criminology, exercise scientists, exercise science and risk management and insurance. A lot of these majors for the group of analysts, they tend to gear more towards, um, you know, literally an analytical approach. So that's kind of why, as for describing a lot of these personality types, they are very analytical. Basically, what that means is that, they like to look at things and they like to, what this kind of means is that they really like to look at what it is that they have, and that's how they base their choices off a lot of things. Um, which is why you can see that a lot with, an aerospace engineer for a person with INTJ, a forensic scientist for INTP, a project manager or a lawyer for ENTJs, and and then definitely, an attorney or a coach or a reporter for a person with an ENTP personality type. So these are definitely not set in stone. There are definitely a lot of careers and different majors that everyone can choose from. And it doesn't necessarily need to align with what personality type there is. This is just usually what a lot of these personality types kind of gear towards. These are the personality types that gear towards these specific um, majors or careers that people have seen. So the diplomats. So this is what I'm part of. So these are the diplomats. These personality types are use more of their um, the intuitive and feeling personas. These personality types are known for their empathy, their diplomatic skills, and their passionate idealism. So INFJs, they are the quiet visionaries, and they often serve as inspiring and tireless idealists. And they're known to be in inventive, idealistic, insightful. INFPs, which is what my personality type is. They are very poetic, kind, and altruistic people. They're always eager to help a good cause, and they're known to be passionate, intuitive, and creative. ENFJs are inspiring optimists. They're readily taking action to do what they feel is right. They are very warm, supportive, and inclusive. And then ENFPs, they are enthusiastic, creative, and sociable free spirits who can always find a reason to smile. And they're described as imaginative, enthusiastic, and expressive. So, what we can gather from diplomats is that They are very well known for being in fields. If we look at this, um, they are just very well known for being a people person. They are always known to use their people person skills, and their emotional skills, their emotional intelligence skills, when they are in a work environment or when they are working with other people. So usually, overall, a lot of these majors that diplomats tend to kind of go towards are you know, education or something along the lines of like psychology or sociology, communications. And one of the most well-known um, careers that diplomats tend to be are usually counselors, teachers, or some sort of mentor um, for anyone within the realm of education as well. So these are just some of the majors and the careers that diplomats tend to kind of gear towards. So, sentinels are the personality types that have the observant and judging aspects of them. They're known for their practicality and focus on order, security, and stability. So, I will definitely say that sentinels are actually the most well-known and most common personality types. Um, According to the website that I will link, they are the most well-known personality types that a lot of people tend to gear towards. And so, starting with ISTJ, um, they are practical and fact-minded individuals whose reliability cannot be doubted. They are very persistent, logical, and practical. Um, ISFJs are very dedicated and warm protectors. They're always ready to defend their loved ones, and they're very cooperative, committed, and understanding. ESTJs are excellent administrators and unsurpassed at managing things or people, and they are methodical, focused, and planned. Um, ESFJ personality types are extraordinary, caring, social, and popular people that are always eager to help. And so they are known to be very helpful, supportive, and practical. And so, what does this mean for Sentinels? Well, guess what? They are the natural caretakers and they are born social workers. So, um, what this kind of means is that sentinels usually tend to work within the healthcare realm, and they are just naturally good at, handling other people and and being of service to people in their own ways. They're well equipped to basically help clients resolve their own personal difficulties. So an ISTJ could be, a banker, or they are law enforcement. Law enforcement being, police, a detective, personal investigator, a lot of things like that. ISFJs, they are most likely a nursing student, or they are in some sort of healthcare position, whether that means that they are a pharmacist, they are a surgeon, they are a physician, they have that, they usually gear towards that kind of career and that major. ESTJs are more of the administrative side of, I would say, of the healthcare realm, I would definitely say. They are the ones that are more of the administrative side. So they have a lot of they tend to gear towards a lot of management positions, um, being a CEO or being a credit analyst. If they want to do something within the healthcare realm, they are usually the pharmacists. And then for ESFJs, education, social work, nursing, public relationships, they are the ones that are definitely, they like to communicate with people. They like to be the one working with people in order to help them. Um, so that's usually why, if they are a teacher, they are usually an elementary school teacher, or they work in special education. Um, so again, just saying, like, this does not define who you are as a person, or it does not define what major you should be taking, but it's something to consider because these are just the majors and careers that these personality types do tend to gear towards. With that being said, we'll go on to our last one, which are the explorers. So this group of personality types, they are the observant and prospecting personality types that are known for their I'm going to butcher this, spontan spontan they are very spontaneous. They have ingenuity and they are very flexible. ISTPs are very bold and practical experimenters, and they are the master of all kinds of tools. That's not only meaning, they're, a drill or a hammer. They have other kinds of tool sets like emotional intelligence and all that good stuff. They are active, capable, concrete, and proficient. ISFPs are flexible and charming artists that are always ready to explore and experience something new. They are known to be flexible, energetic, and pragmatic. ESTPs, if we look here, he looks kind of like Johnny Cage. Um, they are smart, energetic, and very perspective people who truly enjoy living on the edge. They are active, pragmatic, incisive, and demanding. And then we have the ESFP, which are personality types that are known to be spontaneous, energetic, enthusiastic people, and life is never boring around them. So they are very energetic, inquisitive, and encouraging. So what does this mean for explorers? Well, they technically are efficient problem solvers. They have the ability to assess their situations rapidly and then can develop a plan of action on the spot. So these are people who like to be hands-on, and these personality types, I mean, are individuals who thrive on being hands-on and they really enjoy um, they just really enjoy being able to put themselves out there in different ways. So ISTPs, these personality types tend to kind of gear more towards construction management, cybersecurity, mechanical engineering. They are kind of more, they most likely will be an engineer, military personnel, an ER physician, someone skilled in trades or doing something within public service, like being a firefighter, being a lifeguard, working in law, something like that. ISFPs kind of gear towards art and design. They gear towards horticulture, forestry, culinary arts, and the social sciences. And usually they are an accountant. They can be a gardener, they can be a social worker, or um, they teach, or they are a child care provider. ESTPs and ESFPs are almost about the same. The only difference I would say is how they would go about expressing, their extrovertedness. So, ESTPs kind of have more of like that sportcaster, fitness instructor kind of vibe, and ESFPs are, they like to showcase their talents, um, like by being, being a photographer, being a cosmetologist, a flight attendant. So these are just a lot of things that personality types of the explorers tend to gear towards. It's a lot definitely to take in, so you will have your time to definitely go ahead and look through. And with that being said, I kind of want to go ahead and just show you my personality type. Um, and kind of what you're going to see when you take the test. So after you're done taking the test, you get all of this. So you are given your personality type, and like it says here, I am a mediator. I am the personality type INFP. It goes into what it kind of like explains what your personality type is and gives you some insight as to what that means for you. And, take it as something as like, oh, okay, so these are my strengths and weaknesses as this personality type. How can I use that when I start choosing my own career, when I start working, you know? So it shows here my tip. So I am 54% introverted. I am 71% intuitive. I have 80% feeling. I am 51% prospecting. And then there is a reason it explains what the subtypes A and T mean. So I am 81% turbulent. Um, and it explains all of that later. And then, you get to your career path. So it tells you um, your strengths and your weaknesses. Um, and then you go into your personality growth. And one of the things that I love looking at um, is that, 16 personalities also tells you what individuals are the same personality as you. So J.R.R. Tolkien, the creator of Lord of the Rings, William Shakespeare. Um, I I feel like I'm going to butcher her name and I really don't want to. Um, Bjork um, is another individual who has an INFP personality type. Alicia Keys, Tom Hiddleston, Julia Roberts, William Wordsworth, Johnny Depp, Frodo Baggins, and just a lot of like like a lot of characters from shows and then individuals themselves. So that's just something that, that's really fun to kind of take a look at. And if you're just curious about what other personality types there are and you just want to look through, then you can definitely go ahead and do that. So as we um move forward, oh, okay. Oops. I guess I forgot to unhide this one. So let me go ahead and just do that. Okay, there we go. So something to keep in mind of when you are doing the personality tests or you're picking a career in general or you're thinking about your career, nothing is set in stone, especially when you're using personality types to discover your career pathway. Um, your personality type should never determine or limit you on what you want to do for your future. Um, it should never define you as a person. You should never, base your whole life around it. Definitely use MBTI to kind of gauge how you handle certain things, how you talk to people, how you work in certain environments. Um, you should never use that to kind of revolve your whole life around it. It's there as a tool. It's part of you. Um, to kind of use, but not to completely base your whole life off of. Like I said, you may be part of the analyst group, an INFP that wants to go into horticulture. You actually really enjoy working with plants and you really like learning about agriculture and whatnot. Um, it should never these personality types should never limit you on what it is that you have, especially just because like what I chose on here are just um, different careers and majors that different personality type groups just tend to gear towards. Um, you should always be thinking for yourself what it is that you want for your future, because at the end of the day, it's you. It's going to always be depending on what you think and what you want for yourself. So that's just honestly something I want to keep in mind for you guys. And with that being said, thank you for joining today's Student Success Workshop. Um, Over here, if you can scan for our Instagram page where we have a lot of announcements and we update a lot of things. And also just to be kept in the know about certain events that are coming up, go ahead and scan that or find us at LBCC ECI right here. That is how you find us on Instagram. And if you ever have any questions and you would like to contact us, feel free to send us an email at theearlycollege@lbcc.edu. For an email, and then feel free to call us at our office at 562-938-5272. Our office hours are for at least until before the winter semester starts. Our office hours are going to be from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday to Thursdays, and then 8 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. on Fridays. So with that being said, I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. The next student success workshop is going to be on financial aid. So if you're curious about that, feel free to sign up for that by going to our Instagram and signing up for that student success workshop. And that is going to be in December, next month. So I'm looking forward to seeing you guys, and I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Bye bye.